If you ever felt empty after finishing The Last of Us, then this Xbox series deserves your attention. A Plague Tale didn't just tell a story, it broke hearts one rat at a time. Sorry, one heart at a time. But here's the part no one talks about. It might have actually done it better. Yo, welcome to Game Spider, and I'm Jason. If you love stories that stay with you long after the controller is down, you are in the right place. We look past the trailers and the hype to uncover the stories that got buried or ignored. There's a story buried on Xbox that few knows about. A tale of children, not soldiers. Of pain, not power. And of love. In a world where hope barely survives, this isn't just your typical Xbox blockbuster. No guns blazing, no superhero saving the day. Just a sister, her brother, and the world that wants to eat them alive. The Last of Us gave PlayStation its crown, but on Xbox, A Plague Tale whispered a story just as gut-wrenching. Only different, barely anyone noticed. While the world debated Game of the Year contenders, Amicia and Hugo were drowning in a world of plague, war, and rats. An Xbox crowd never gave them the flowers they deserve. This wasn't just about graphics, or combat, or award. This is about feeling something, and A Plague Tale felt real. Too real. Because where you are an older sibling, a lost soul, or someone who's had to protect what little light you had left, this game will shatter you. And that's just the beginning. The story begins in the quiet countryside of 14th century France. Birds chirping, sunlight bleds through the trees, something feels innocent. But innocence dies fast. Amicia the Rune, just a teenager. Her brother Hugo, barely old enough to understand the world around him. They weren't warriors, they weren't ready, but A Plague Tale didn't care. The Inquisition didn't care. And the world certainly didn't care. In a single moment, their homes is destroyed, their parents gone, their safety ripped away. All that's left is each other. Hugo clings to Amicia not just because she's his sister, but because she's now his entire world. And Amicia, she's forced to grow up in a matter of hours, to carry a sword she never trained with, to run from men with torches, to stay calm when inside she's screaming. This isn't just about the horror of rats swarming in the shadows, it's about the horror of being too young to carry the weight of survival, too scared to say, I'm not okay, because crying might get you killed. And yet, between the fear and the filth, there are moments, small moments, where Amicia reached out to calm Hugo when she lets him hold her hand, where she tells him bedtime stories in ruined barns with no roof. Moments where the players aren't just pushing a joystick. You are holding a child's life together with nothing but your voice. This is where A Plague Tale innocence breaks you. Not with combat, not with puzzles, but with its heart. Because sometimes the scariest thing isn't the rats, it's realizing you'll do anything, kill anyone, just to protect the last person who believes in you. And that's exactly what Amicia does. You'd think that once you survive the worst, you've earned peace. But A Plague Tale Requiem spits in the face of that dream. Amicia and Hugo survived the plague, they fought through the war, they buried people they loved. So why does it still hurt? Because Requiem isn't a story about surviving anymore. It's a story about what survival costs you. Hugo is getting worse. The power inside him, this cause tied to the rats, it's growing, feeding, calling to him. And Amicia, she's breaking down slowly, silently, fatally. She's no longer just protecting Hugo. She's fighting for him, bleeds for him, burns for him, and it kills her. She smiles when she wants to scream. She comforts Hugo when her own nightmares are louder than ever. She becomes a weapon, not by choice, but because she has no option. And as the game goes on, you stop to wonder if they'll survive and start wondering, will there be something left for them after this is all over? Because love, real love is heavy. And sometimes the people who love the hardest crack the loudest. And Amicia, she starts to crack, she lashes out, she isolates, she hardens, and yet she never lets you see the pieces. Because that's what love is sometimes, hiding your pain. So the ones you love doesn't feel theirs. But pain doesn't disappear, it festers. And in the world of a plague tale, even love can be a curse. There is a moment in Requiem where everything slows down. Not because the game wants to impress you, but because it wants you to feel helpless. Amicia, after all her sacrifice, her bloodshed, all her hope fails. Hugo's condition worsens until he's not even there anymore. The curse consumes him. The rats aren't just reacting to Hugo, they are Hugo now. And every time he loses control, it kills people, children, villagers, innocents. The world sees him as a monster and eventually he starts to believe it too. But Amicia doesn't. She can't. She still sees her little brother, the boy who held her hand when the world was falling apart. But it doesn't matter anymore because this time there is no cure, no escape, no miracle. Just a choice. A choice no one should ever have to make. Let him live and it will destroy everything and everyone, or end him. And in the slightest moment where Hugo is too far gone, he does something no one expects. He begs her, Amicia, please, make it stop. And just like that, Amicia, the protector, the warrior, the sister who fought armies for him, has to kill the one person she couldn't live without. That's not just a twist. That's not just dark. It's shattering. She doesn't cry, she doesn't scream. She just does it because she loves him. And love, real love sometimes looks like mercy. The screen fades to white and you will just sit there numb. When a Plato Requiem ends, it doesn't give you a sequel hook. It doesn't tease a big threat. It just lets you sit in silence. And honestly, the silence says more than most games ever dare to say. The minister doesn't get a happy ending. There is no hope, no fade to black with hopeful music. There's just grief, but also peace. She did the unthinkable, not because she wanted to, but because she had to. And maybe that's why this game hits harder than I expected, because it reminds me of The Last of Us, but from a completely different angle. Joel killed for love, Amicia had to let go for love. Two different choices, same pain. But while some became a cultural landmark, Requiem barely made a ripple. And that's the tragedy that goes beyond the story. This wasn't just an indie-looking game, this was an Xbox gem. One of the biggest narrative games ever dropped on Game Pass, but barely anyone talks about it. No trending hashtags, no Game of the Year awards. Just a quiet story that came and went. But it shouldn't have. Not when it gave us two of the most emotional, devastating games in Xbox history. Not when it told a story that could stand beside PlayStation's finest. And maybe even surpasses it in raw heartbreak. If you're an Xbox fan or someone who just loves powerful storytelling, don't let this game fade into the shadow. Go back, play Innocence, play Requiem, feel it, because this was more than just a stealth adventure. It was a funeral wrapped in gameplay, and somehow a love letter too, to family, to sacrifice, to every player who ever held on just a little too long, because letting go felt impossible. If this story hits you even half as hard as it hit me, then do one thing. Subscribe to the channel. Drop your comment about your experience with Hugo and Amicia. And most importantly, like this video. Because here on Game Spider, we bring forgotten games back to the light one story at a time. With that, my deep divers, I'll see you next week.